Time to let it rip. Now we're going to dispense with the usual introductions. You know consultant Steve Hood, attorney Charlie Langton. We begin tonight with another explosive investigation by Fox 2's Charlie LaDuff. And Charlie, what did you find?
Well, here's what I think I found. A competent judge done it by his appetites, and now he's compromised his family, his career, and the court itself. Take a look.
Judge, you said you'd give her anything if she aborted the baby, so why'd you call the prosecutor on her? What did she do wrong? Sir, you're a criminal judge. Is what you did criminal?
Wait, let's start in the middle of this story. Two people from work hook up, they make a baby. It happens. But in this case, they're not colleagues. She stood in his courtroom as a complaining witness in a child support case against her ex. And he was the judge deciding the case. That's creepy, and it's probably illegal.
Hot dog. Yep, that's me.
You remember Third Circuit Court Judge Wade McCree, the buff barrister we caught back in April texting nude pics of himself to a female bailiff?
Yeah, no shame to my game.
His performance was so bizarre that the Michigan Supreme Court took the highly unusual step of censuring him for bringing shame to the profession and acting like a total McCreep.
She said she got it from me? Is that through him or she told you?
Through him.
Oh, so it's still hearsay. Oh.
Well, this isn't hearsay. In the middle of the judge's Supreme Court investigation, His Honor met up with her, Janine Lachey Mott, a woman who had dragged her ex-boyfriend into court on felony charges that he was ducking out on his child support.
I met him as a litigant, a complaining witness in his courtroom, and he stayed around after the case was over, and that's when the second half of the flirting started, and we went from there and our relationship picked up. It went from being a summer fling and just something to do to falling in love, promises of marriage, me getting pregnant, us buying a house together, name it.
Things move fast, Janine says. McCree told her his marriage was loveless. Janine showed us hundreds of messages the two exchanged over the months, including this one where McCree asked her to keep the relationship under the covers. McCree: my judicial tenure commission has me nervous. As you might expect, I have to be real careful until this matter's put to rest. You are the complaining witness on a case that is before me. Naturally, if it got out that we were seeing each other before your baby daddy's case closed, everybody could be in deep shit. Why you want to spend time with a man like me remains a mystery. But if you'll have me, then as Bill Withers said, use me up. Smooches. The text came from McCree's phone number. He still has that number, and this is his voicemail.
I am unable to take this call at this time.
Judge McCree, it's Charlie LaDuff. I'm needing to talk to you. That's them at a Wolverines game. And that's a check he wrote from his dead mother's estate to help her pay for the house. And these are texts between the two, plotting the punishment of Janine's ex, McCree. Okay, the math will be based on his failures since being placed on probation. But if you're right, the threat of jail will loosen his purse strings. Janine: okay, so let's go with what you proposed. Go to jail 150 days, release upon payment of $1,500, or get a tether and bring back within 30 days $2,500 or serve 9 months. Bonus: pay within 30 days, remove tether. Now back to us. What are we going to do after court Thursday? Janine's ex got tossed in the can, but justice was equal here because Janine's ex got a jail bed and Janine got the judge's bed. Listen to what she says they did after court.
The day of, we then go to his chambers as usual, whether I leave out the front door and he lets me up the back, but in chambers all of the time.
What, sex?
Yes. We have sex in his chambers very often.
Like on his desk?
On his desk, in the chair, the couch, you name it.
Fox 2 legal analyst Charlie Langton says this whole court's out of order.
This judge just got a little invitation from the Supreme Court to, hey, be a good judge just a little while ago, and he couldn't do that. Now, if there are charges, and I suspect there will be charges, certainly ethical charges, if not criminal charges, but the Supreme Court may get a second crack at this judge.
That's what the ex says, and he's no lawyer.
Look at this. I mean, it's basically he's basically listening to her to set me up. It's set up. I can't believe this, man. This is my life right here. They played with my life. They played with my life.
Janine says Judge McCree promised to marry her. She even went with him to file the divorce papers. Then she got pregnant. And then she went to the OB/GYN. Janine, have you been sleeping with anyone else during our relationship, even oral sex? I'm asking now because they're going to run the test to know if the baby's at risk, and I'd rather hear it from you if I do, McCree. You have been my only partner since we encountered each other. So it was supposed to be happily ever after, until she says McCree got cold feet. According to the text sent from McCree's phone, his wife found out about the baby and wouldn't grant him the divorce unless Janine aborted it. McCree: yeah, let's talk. I want, and does Laverne, this termination. You'll get whatever you want for it. I've been clear on that from the get-go. Whatever you want, you shall have. Janine: oh no, you act like I'm holding this over you. You asked me to get the abortion to help you in your divorce case. What do you think people will think of you when they hear this?
Well, I'm sure the same thing I would think watching the news story, that she knew what she was getting into messing with a married man. And that's pretty much it. She should have never got involved. She should have known he wasn't going to leave, the typical. And that's why it was a fling, something to do for the summer, and it turned into more with his promises. And of course I believed him with everything his actions. Showed me that he was leaving, he filed for divorce. I mean, there was nothing to say that we weren't moving forward.
Are you going to keep the child?
Yes. I never wanted to have the abortion in the first place.
So why did this woman come to us? Because last week, Judge McCree went to the Wayne County prosecutor, claiming Janine was stalking and extorting him. Judge McCree failed to mention his baby, the house, or the child support case to the investigators. Still, the investigators looked into it and found his complaints baseless.
Hey, Judge, you have a moment?
No, I do not.
I want to talk to you about Janine Lachey.
Sorry, cannot do it.
Did you have a relationship with her while you had her case in front of you?
All matters are with the prosecutor's office, and I cannot have any conversations with you.
These are your text messages? You don't want to comment on these? Judge, you said you'd give her anything if she aborted the baby, so why'd you call the prosecutor on her? What did she do wrong? Sir, you're a criminal, Judge. Is what you did criminal? Hey, come on, talk to me, Judge. Come on, Judge.
You don't get 3 strikes and you're a judge. You probably get 1. You certainly don't get 2. This guy is probably going to be gone.
And she's pregnant? Wow. What, he's going to be put on child support?
Well, tonight, Judge Wade McCree is not talking, but his mistress is talking to Charlie LaDuff. You sat down with this woman, and you have to wonder, was her motivation to do the right thing, or was it revenge?
Woman scorned. As you heard, she was promised the moon. She has a house she can't afford. She has his child in her body, and she feels alone, I think. And if he's not going to do the right thing, then she's going to let people know who and what he is.
Steve, why am I not surprised that you know everybody involved in this story?
Tertiarily, I've met Janine on several occasions. A nice young lady. And I've actually seen her with the judge.
And apparently they were not clandestine or secretive about their relationship.
No. They didn't seem to be clandestine or secretive, but the father, he was the first appeals court judge in the 6th Circuit Court of Appeals and the second African-American Solicitor General. You get that, one more little blurb on one of his writings, and then you get your original story of the text messages with the chest. What is happening here is young Wade McCree has defiled the history that was so hard fought by his father, and that is the sad thing about all of this. We're sitting here actually talking about it, and it didn't have to happen. And you got Janine saying they did it on the courtroom desk and all this stuff. This is salacious stuff we don't need to hear at 10:30 at night.
The question is Judge Wade McCree's career over, Charlie Lang?
I'd say it's very close to being over. First of all, there's ethical rules. A judge has to be totally independent. What really bothers me about this story is, listen, all the sex sounds all good and all, but the problem here is that Janine was participating in a judge's decision in a case. That's the problem. You can't have your girlfriend participate in a case. That violates every rule that I know of. And I tell you, it may be criminal if the prosecutor, and I'm sure the prosecutor is going to look into this to see if there's any obstruction of justice. You cannot give favoritism or go harsh or do anything that would violate your sense of independence. A judge has to be independent. This guy was not independent. It could be criminal.
And in that regard, I would think that the boyfriend, her first boyfriend, the father of her first child, might also have reason to sue.
He could very well sue.
He's looking for a lawyer. Yeah,
Well, he should.
And to say that, look, that's right. I'm no bedroom peeper. It doesn't matter to me who he's sleeping with. I wouldn't report on it. But when he compromises the court, and there's a lot of problems in the Third Circuit Court. We know that. We've got Diane Hathaway in the Supreme Court. We've got her daughter there and her tax problems. We've got people getting out early. It's not about his sexual issues. It's about what he did with the court, what you're talking about. You besmirched it. You manipulate a law. Now, how can you sit there and pass judgment on young men and women looking to you as the moral, lodestar, for God's sake?
But the real tragedy is upon his family and his family's legacy. That's a bad thing. And, we don't see the kind of legacy he had in the African-American community as often as we should. I mean, his father was a truly great man. His mother was a truly great man.
There's an award named after him.
And you would also think that in the wake of the Kwame sex and text scandal, that public officials would realize there are certain things that you don't do. You don't communicate via text.
And at some point in time, you watch the tape. But at some point in time, the judge, watching this show tonight, he's got to think about his job tomorrow. He might have to resign, and he should maybe do the right thing. And at this point in time, I would say, Judge, you've got to seriously think about resigning.
But now, many people say that this is a private matter. You're investigating a public official.
No, it's not. It went into the courtroom, and that's the story that I got here.
And then paid for by our tax dollars.
And then he hauled the prosecutor's office into it. Don't forget that.
He called the prosecutor
and didn't tell him the facts of what was going on. So
he lied to the prosecutor. That's another problem.
What do you mean stalking when this kind of business is going on? You know what I'm saying?
He's a judge. He's supposed to judge. His judgment is messed up.
Well, it's a sad day for his family, her family, and for Detroit. Hopefully, this will be sorted